Hi there, and a very warm welcome to Season 4, Episode 17 of PeopleSoup. It's Ross McIntosh here.
So I have inherited or stolen the phrase, but I think it's very apt to what happens to me on my walks.
Yeah, well, thank you to all the people.
Yeah.
All the dogs.
All the dogs, the joggers, the cyclists.
Yeah.
It's amazing that, and I look forward to my walks, and I go out in all weathers, just because I like the result of seeing strangers.
Seeing lots of people.
And their kindness.
Yeah, well, thanks, Dad. P-Soupers, in this episode, it's a welcome return for Big G, my dad, also known as Gordon McIntosh. And this is by popular request as he reflects on his experience of the kindness of strangers and his recent Chisi Award for compassionate inspiration. P-Soupers, you may well be wondering, what's this got to do with adults in the workplace? Well, I think Big G is doing some important role modelling for us all, and I think we could all do with a bit more kindness at work. More about that later. PeopleSoup is an award-winning podcast where we share evidence-based behavioural science in a way that's practical, accessible, and fun to nourish your minds to flourish at work. Let's take a quick scoot over to the news desk. Reviews are in for part 2 of my chat with Yorkshireman Dr. Steve Jones, author of Act Made Yorkshire. Here's a review from Twitter from Dr. Rachel Lee. She said, really enjoyed listening to Dr. Steve Jones talk to Ross about the creation of his book, Act Made Yorkshire. Appreciated the warmth, humour and honesty about the unhelpful thoughts that cropped up along the way. Brightened up a cold, wet Yorkshire dog walk. Thanks, Rachel, for taking the time to review this episode, and to everyone who listened and shared. For now, get a brew on and have a listen to my chat with my dad, Big G. So, Dad, the other day you said to me, the kindness of strangers, and you couldn't remember where it came from.
That is right. And then I did some research and remembered that it was Kate Adie, who was a war correspondent who went into all these horrible places in the world and for some reason came up with that saying. And it reminded me of all the people I meet on my walks who speak to me, give me donations for my charity, and are just generally nice to me.
Yeah.
And one particular episode is when I supposedly finished my cancer walks.
Yes, when you finished phase 1 of walking along the wall.
Phase 1.
Yes.
That is one complete 84-mile section of my walk, which is equal to the Hadrian's Wall path.
Right.
And I was presented with a cheque at Ginevra.
And that was one of those big...
Yes, big...
showbiz checks.
Big cancer cheque, but also I got a framed certificate from the cancer research lady called Sam Morley.
Right.
But one of the waitresses at Ginevra was so impressed by the fact that I'd been raising money for cancer research and I chose to have the cheque presented at Ginevra that she collected her tips for a month and presented me with cash for £20, which, bearing in mind she's a waitress, it must have been a lot of money for her to give away to my charity, which is cancer research. And she also presented me with this card, which read, after you chose to have your giant cheque presented to you at Lo Prudo, Ginevra, I was massively inspired by you and your story. It is customers like you that put a smile on my face and make my day. I have been incredibly touched by the amount of money you have raised, so I decided to save up my tips for the last month for your Just Giving page. Although it is not a lot, I wanted to support your journey as you have supported our local cafe, and never fail to make the staff smile. Keep being you. and here's to raising fab amounts of money from Abby, Care, Ginevra, Low Prado.
Well, how lovely.
I am very touched with this card, and I will keep it forever.
Wow. And there's one thing you forgot to mention about your walks. The kindness of strangers, but also the kindness of dogs.
Yes, I meet all sorts of dogs, and I even now carry dog food with me, little dog biscuits to give to the dogs, and they now recognise me and dash up to me for their daily biscuit, much to the concern of their owners.
Uh-huh. But Blue is a whippet and runs a long way to see you.
Oh yes, she runs. There's quite a variation in walks down by Prudhoe Riverside. One is on the grass very near the river, but what I walk is a concrete path away from the river, and this dog Blue runs across the grass to me for his daily biscuit, which is lovely.
At speed.
Being a whippet, it really does run quickly.
And what about those big dogs that are a bit more scary?
Oh, yes. I have fed, I'm not sure, Bernese mountain dog. And that's a lady in a wheelchair who I speak to occasionally.
Yeah.
I also carry sweets for children, which sounds terribly odd, but I gave some sweets to
one child.
To one child, and it transpired that her mum was a dentist, and she said, "Next time, could you bring an apple, please?"
Oh, that's you told, mate.
And I have done this a few times now. I now carry apples in my bag, which is getting heavier every day, what with biscuits and apples.
And
one park runner fell just beside me, so I now carry first aid kit in this bag.
Oh, blimey.
Together with water for refreshment, which I generally have at the end of at halfway stage of my walk.
Right. And we looked up that phrase. Remember, we looked at that phrase.
Yes.
The kindness of
the
strangers.
Kindness of Strangers.
And it was Kate Adie's book.
It was Kate Adie, who was a BBC war correspondent, I suppose.
But it was also from a play called A Streetcar Named Desire.
That's right, I remember you saying that.
But I think I don't know whether it's the final line in that, but it's someone called Blanche Dubois who says, "I have always depended on the kindness of strangers."
Yes.
Did you notice that accent there?
I did. I noticed that accent. Very good.
Did you think I was Blanche Dubois?
Definitely.
Oh, man.
So I have inherited or stolen the phrase, but I think it's very apt to what happens to me on my walks.
Yeah, well, thank you to all the people.
Yeah.
All the dogs.
All the dogs, the joggers, the cyclists.
Yeah.
It's amazing that, and I look forward to my walks, and I go out in all weathers, just because I like the result of seeing strangers.
Seeing lots of people.
And their kindness.
Yeah, well, thanks, Dad.
Thank you.
And thanks to Cafe Ginevra, too.
Oh, yes.
Dad's a bit of an addict now. He has 2 lattes and a panini.
Yes. I ordered 2 lattes at once. One I have immediately, the second when I wave to them. So they've got to know me. And like I say, I look forward to meeting Abby again, and I intend to take a little box of sweets for her.
Lovely. Right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining me in this interview, Big G.
Thank you.
Now, PeopleSoup, that conversation was recorded when we visited Dad in early December 2021. And since then, he's won an award. So we had another chat to catch up and get his reaction to the award, this time via Zoom. And just to position this, on the day of our conversation, he'd also been interviewed by a lady called Anthea on behalf of Cancer Research UK. So let's go over to my chat with Dad. There was snow on the ground, I saw this morning, but you still went on your walk.
Yeah, there was a bit of snow on the ground, but not much. The path was icy in places, but I walked chiefly on the hard grass.
Right.
You know, the grass were frozen hard, no problem, no slippiness. I was okay.
Oh, Lord. And what was the temperature?
Just about -0.5, you know, it was okay.
Okay.
But I was well wrapped up, had my gloves on, and most interestingly, there weren't many, well, I suppose it was because of the cold, there weren't many people about. I saw about a couple on the journey down to me turning point.
Mm-hmm.
And when I came back, I saw Tony and Rose with their dog. So I fed him, and they were talking to Val, and I wished them all Happy New Year. I fed Val's Blue and the little one. So that was about it.
Mm-hmm.
I think I saw one more person and fed a little dog. You know, I think people were put off by the cold.
But not you.
Well, I have to keep it going. So then I came back, and then I did a little bit of work in the study. It's getting better. I'll have a finished version soon.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got ready for my talk with Anthea.
All right.
I prepared. I got all my charity information out, all my cancer information, you know, when I was diagnosed, and all my 37 treatments and how I was okay. She wanted also to know about Anne's condition and treatment. And she was very sad and sorry about what happened.
Mm-hmm.
It went very well. She wanted me to tell her, you know, she was prompting questions, and I was telling her all about things, where I came from, where I worked, and how I met Anne. And she was nice. She wants a photograph of Anne and me, and I'm sure you can cater for that, and one of me in me walking gear, which again you can select for me.
Okay.
I got in me mention about all the people I met and the kindness of strangers.
Good. Good. So remember when we spoke before, well, when we came up to see you before Christmas, and I recorded that piece on gratitude and the kindness of strangers?
Yes.
I just thought we could expand that to cover your award.
Yeah, yes. I was totally surprised to get the award. What I did was just, to me, natural. It's just what I am, you know. I was very moved about Lou, and I still am, you know. I just feel as if I knew her, and I just wanted to do something to help. And that's when I started my walk in May. That got me into walking. And like Forrest Gump, I've kept going, and I think it's a brilliant way of getting out and meeting people. I've met some lovely people on my walk. They all acknowledge me now, and I carried treats for the dogs who run up to me and bound up to me and want their little dog biscuit. So it's brilliant. It makes my day going on that walk every day, and I wouldn't miss it for the world.
Even through snow, or even through light frost and a mild dusting of snow.
I draw the line at deep. You know, I have to drive there.
Yes.
I don't want to do anything dangerous to get there. But, you know, if the roads are okay, I can wrap up with warm clothing. If the path is a bit icy, I will walk on the grass, like most people were doing today, although there weren't many people about, but they were walking on the grass.
Right.
I haven't seen Emma today, but you know what she's doing? She's taking up painting by numbers.
I saw her on Facebook.
Remember Anne painting the Spanish Madonna? You know, a Spanish lady flamenco dancing. That was Anne's first painting by numbers.
I know the painting, the Spanish Maiden.
Yes.
And I had no idea it was painting by numbers.
Yes, it was painting by numbers. And I couldn't lay my hands on it, but I'm sure it. In fact, we had it on the top of the stairs, on the wall for a long time.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm sure we had it there. Well, you probably were at college. I'm sure we had it on show, but that was Anne's painting by numbers.
Wow.
Oh, dear me. I think after that, she must have gone into embroidery by numbers.
And just going back to your award for a minute, Dad, because you just say it's who you are, but it's the impact on other people that I think has been recognised, no? What you do as being an impact on others.
I'm terribly surprised. I just, I think it's in my nature to help people.
Can I read it out to you?
Yes, yes.
Right. So here we go, Dad. Each year, this is Chris Winson writing, Dad.
Yeah.
Each year, I have awarded the Chisi Compassionate Inspiration Award, often to someone who may not be well known or doesn't feature in the other awards, but who has inspired me. It could have been a repeat award for Rose Horton-Smith, who has been a constant support to many of us again this year. The winner of the 2021 Chisi Compassionate Inspiration is a man who has been inspired by loss, by the grief of others, and challenged himself through miles and miles of walking to raise money for related charities, all with gentle humour in a quiet and unassuming way. The 2021 Chisi Compassionate Inspiration is Gordon McIntosh, also known as Big G. Thank you, Gordon. In dark days, you have been a light and made a huge difference through the amazing fundraising you have done. And Ross, it is about time Big G had his own podcast.
Oh dear, that is brilliant, isn't it? I'm so pleased what I'm doing has been acknowledged, and I just hope to continue.
Well, just look at the title of the award. Compassionate and inspiration. So you're an inspiration to others, but it's the kindness that people are seeing as well.
Yes, yes. I think it's just in my nature, Ross.
I agree.
I'm a bit dumbfounded. I'm sorry.
No, don't be daft. You should be very proud, Dad.
Yes, yes. Well, I think you've helped me in so many ways to do what I'm doing.
Well, maybe I'm just reflecting your kindness back at you.
Yeah.
That's it, folks. The kindness of strangers in the bag. Thanks to Big G for chatting and for role modelling his thoughtful and humble approach to kindness and gratitude. I've spoken with Dad before on basic psychological needs of A, B, and C. That's autonomy, belonging, and competence, as well as the 5 ways to well-being, and you'll find links to those episodes in the show notes. What Dad talks about here is his innate kindness to others, and how he appreciates small acts of kindness and connection from others too. In the hurly-burly of work and life, we can sometimes forget to be kind. Why not make it your mission this week to spread small acts of kindness in your day-to-day interactions? You never know the impact you might have on somebody else. And as ever, your well-being is uppermost in my mind, so I also want you to look after yourselves and not overcommit or spread yourselves too thinly. So when I invite you to spread small acts of kindness, it could be smiling at someone, saying hello. It could be a wave. It could be sending someone a message just to say you're thinking of them. And this reminds me of some research by Sinclair et al. In the BMC Palliative Care Journal. And this looked at compassion, and it was a scoping review of the healthcare literature. And in that review, they found that action was often an essential component of compassion across studies involving the perspectives of patients and clinicians. And this is the bit that stuck in my mind from that paper, folks. Actions associated with compassion primarily consisted of attending to the little things and small acts of kindness. And there's a link to that paper in the show notes. I've also added a link to a great article by Adam Grant and Reb Rebele called Beat Generosity Burnout, which recognises that selflessness at work can lead to exhaustion and recommends how you can share your time and expertise more effectively. And again, there's a link to that article in the show notes too. And of course, you're also interacting with yourself every day. So how about extending that small act of kindness to you? Perhaps you might want to play your favourite song online. Dig out a favourite photo to look at. Remember a happy memory with a loved one. Spend a few minutes interacting with your pet. Stand up and stretch. Or have a look out of a window and really notice what you can see. Just a few ideas of ways you can extend that small act of kindness to yourself. If you like this episode of the podcast, could I invite you to share it with one other person? I'm really keen to spread the behavioural science and skills with more people. Of course, a subscription, follow, rating or review are also very much appreciated. It makes us more discoverable to more people. So if you wouldn't mind rating or reviewing whatever platform you're on, please do. I'd really, really appreciate it. The show notes are at rossmcintosh.co.uk, and this includes links to a few different platforms. I love to hear from you, PeopleSoupers, and you can get in touch at peoplesoup.pod@gmail.com. On Twitter, we are at PeopleSoupPod. On the gram, we are at people.soup. On Facebook, we are at PeopleSoupPod. Thanks to Andy Glenn for his spoon magic and Alex Engelberg for his vocals. Most of all, dear listener, thanks to you. Look after yourselves, PeopleSoupers, and bye for now. What have you done to your finger?
Oh, I thought something I've been doing in there. I must have pricked it or on a sharp bit of wood or something. But you know, with me being on the pills, it wouldn't stop.
Oh, Lordy.
So it's just a prick, but it just wouldn't stop bleeding. So I found some bandage that wrapped round and sealed itself, you know.
Ah, okay, good.
So it's just to stop the bleeding. Nothing serious, just a little prick.